I think about people asking me, oh, how it was. How was it? People saying, tell me all about it. And having nothing to say. It was an experience that's just impossible to put into words. I'm hoping that what I captured on the video camera will somehow explain it, but most of the important things that happened weren't filmed. The things that were told to us, the stories that were told. You know, Fernando and Johnny seemed like such a big part of our Camino, and there's almost nothing of them on this camera. And that's okay. But here I am with really nothing to say. We are in Oviedo, about to go on the Camino de Santiago by the Primitivo Ruto, the early way. After Jesus died, the apostles split up the known world for missionary work, and St. James the Elder, James the Apostle, James, maybe Jesus' brother, got the Iberian Peninsula. Later documents suggest that he spent several years here before he went back to Jerusalem in 44 AD to be promptly beheaded by Herod Agrippa. Legend has it that his followers took the body, and I presume the detached head, down to the coast on the Mediterranean Sea. There, it was put into a stone casket and bore by angels all across the Mediterranean through the Pillars of Hercules, the Gibraltar Strait, and to the western coast of Spain, to a little town called Finisterre. Once the body arrived in Spain, Queen Lupa of Galicia sent a team of oxen to pull the stone casket inland, and there it was buried in a special marble tomb that she had prepared for him. In the early 800s, a hermit who would later become the patron saint of dirty, stinking hippies, Pelagius, saw a Compostela, which is a field of stars, and they led him to the tomb. He immediately reported it to the local bishop, Theomuldir, who went to the tomb and declared that these were, in fact, the remains of St. James the Elder. CSI Santiago. Theomuldir immediately reported the finding to King Alphonse II, Alphonse the Chaste, who lived right here in Oviedo and was the king of Asturias, the neighboring kingdom of Galicia. He took the trek that we're going to take, and he indeed confirmed and proclaimed that this was the grave of St. James the Elder. The news spread far and wide. As soon as King Alphonse twittered that the remains of St. James had been found, pilgrims began to show up in droves. This was around 830, 840 AD. Now, there's three kinds of relics in the Catholic Church. A third-class relic is something that a saint touched. Usually it's a piece of cloth. A second-class relic is something he owned, one of his possessions. This could be a Bible, a rosary, his iPad. And finally, there's a first-class relic, and a first-class relic is the actual remains of the saint. We are going to walk 215 miles across northern Spain to see the first-class relics of St. James the Apostle. Arthur! Arthur! No, actually, this is King Alfonso II, Alphonse the Chaste. And he's actually looking in the direction that we gotta head out. According to some guidebooks, our most technically difficult part of this entire walk is getting out of Oviedo through the Byzantine labyrinth of ancient streets that change names every block and all look exactly the same, beautiful as they are. I made a stick, and United Airlines broke it. I had to pay $50 to check this thing, and then sign a waiver that if they broke it, they were just sorry. They weren't going to give me any money for it. But I got some wood glue and some industrial strength duct tape, and I'm hoping that this makes it through the whole trip. I'm going to walk down Jesus Street. It's a metaphor. Okay, we've just come across on our very first day. We're only about 5 kilometers from our destination in Grado. This looks to be our first Roman road. It's perfectly crowned. It's about the right width. They left curbs here, which have obviously been shortened, so a tractor or something can get through this, but this is just exactly what a Roman road looked like. And it just goes off in the distance. I know Julius Caesar came through here on his way to Lugo. We'll be definitely taking the same roads he took. And it's just exciting to be on a Roman road. Well, we finally got to Grotto. It took us 7.5 hours to hike 13.5 miles. Not good. And there was major suffering for the last 3 or 4 miles. I thought we were in better shape than this. I don't know how our packs got heavier. I don't know if I was dreaming, but we're in trouble unless we make a big recovery. Karen has some rashes on her ankle and on her knees from her knee brace and from her socks. She doesn't know if that's from something in the material or something like that, but oh my gosh, we are in trouble. Last night, after my desperate little Camino cam, things got worse. I had what I think is a blood sugar crash. I had chills, and then I had hot sweats, had trouble eating. We decided to take the bus to Salas. It was very nice. It only took 25 minutes. And beautiful countryside. We missed climbing. Hills. Yes, we missed climbing over a very big mountain. But we're okay with that. Now we're in this beautiful little town called Salas. It's got a castle. You can see the castle right behind me here, and that's where we're staying. We're staying in the castle. Mm-hmm. So anyway, how do you feel as a pilgrim taking a bus on one of the stops?
I'm all good with that. I really am. Because it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, and we were going to probably kill ourselves if we tried to do that again today. We did learn a lot of things, and we were well trained. I mean, it's not our bodies that failed so much, it was, we didn't space it out very well, and we didn't use food as fuel. But we've learned our lesson, and we're going to take a day to process it.
We are nonetheless for the wear.
We are suffering on our Camino.
We are suffering. I think it's funny that the second day, we are on the bus the second day. And we're wondering if this is going to be an every other day bus kind of thing.
Well, we need to just talk about Sven.
Sven, yes, Sven.
The only other Peregrino we've met and spoke to along the way until this morning was this lovely young, obviously out of work Swedish Peregrino who had done the Camino a few years before. And we met him briefly at the very top of the mountain after we had hiked up, and it was very difficult.
This thing was huge.
He had taken the Camino a few years ago, and he started again a few days ago, I think in France. But he said he started taking the bus between legs he didn't want to do. And it hadn't really occurred to me that that was an option.
What an inspiration. He had taken the bus that day.
That man saved our life.
He said he walked, he said that it was boring. He goes, rich people's houses.
Yeah.
By the way, his English was so perfect that at first I thought he was an American.
Yes.
He almost had no, Swedish accent,
So God bless Sven, wherever you are.
God bless Sven. Sven, wherever you are today. Salute. So we're taking this beautiful day in this beautiful little Spanish town, and we're going to do some sightseeing. We'll take some more video of whatever we get to see. And we've already got our SEO, and I kind of felt like we were cheating. I mean, we took a bus here, and we got
our little stamp.
We got our passports stamped.
The same we would have if we had suffered and died. We wouldn't have gotten a SEO if we had died on the trail.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Here
I
is
think
our
we're up to
SEOs.
5, maybe? 5?
5, yes. Let's see if you can see these right here. This is a SEO right here, and these are the stamps for all the places we stay, and churches give them out. They're really quite beautiful. This is called a credencial, a peregrino credencial, our credentials. And when we get to Santiago, we give this to them, and they study it. And if they determine that we've actually have walked the last 100 kilometers, no buses allowed the last 100 kilometers, we will get our Compostelo, which is our certificate of completion. And but it's fun to collect our stamps, sellos in Espanol, and we got lots of room for them. And but still, when we got our stamp when we got here, I felt a little guilty, like I hadn't earned it. I had not earned it.
That was the best 3.9 euros. You probably spend the whole
€3,
time.
90, right?
It was about $6 to get it.
I told Karen to save that receipt forever. It's
going in the scrapbook.
I treasure it. So yeah, but I was feeling a little guilty when I got the SEO here in Salas. But just one cerveza poca, and I'm over it. I feel really good. I think we've made the right decision. What's disheartening, and I said this a little bit last night, is that these first 3 days were supposed to be the easy days, and yet what we walked yesterday and what we rode today would be anything besides what I would describe as easy.
It was beautiful.
It was beautiful, but it was really hilly, and these are among the flatter stages until we get past Lugo. So starting tomorrow we walk to Teneo, and after Teneo, then we start getting into the mountains, the real mountains, and I'm a little worried that there will be more suffering.
That's what this is all about. Suffering and gratitude.
Suffering and gratitude. And what are you most grateful for?
That bus. That was an awesome bus.
Here we're on the middle floor of the tower, and there's these big hanging sheets of copper, kind of askew. I have no idea why, but I think it's a musical instrument. And I'm about to play my first concerto on big copper plates in the tower at Salas. Well, Karen, we have 11.5 miles to go. We have a big ass hill to start with. We've had our rest day already. How you feeling about today?
I think we're going to do just fine.
All right. All along the Camino, we have these beautiful fountains to keep us hydrated. This particular one is called The Fountain of Pain. And here's the beginning of the big hill we're about to go up. And here is La Peregrina Bonita. Here's a picture of the beautiful Asturian countryside. We've just walked up about 1,200 feet elevation in just 3 miles. ¿Qué hora es?
Noon.
Wow, we really walked slow. What you see in the foreground here is construction of a superhighway through Asturias. It's not a good sign that no one is working on a Monday. Spain's been going through some austerity cuts, and I wonder if they stopped construction on this beautiful, beautiful highway.
Buenos dias from Teneo. It's now about 10:30 on Monday morning, and we are in Teneo. We got up for breakfast, which was 2 café con leches, and we've had our first siesta of the day. Today was the day we were supposed to be walking 20 miles. We're taking a bus. But right now we are now trying to dry all of our laundry that got soaking wet yesterday in the rainstorm.
We are the worst pilgrims in the world. Here's our laundry strung up in our room. They sort of look like Buddhist prayer flags. All my clothes that they promised would dry overnight do not. I had socks flapping off my pack all day yesterday. This is our room, the beautiful mess that we've made. Twin beds. I've only had about a 50% success rate in getting a doble matrimonial. Yes, we're going to take the bus. This is probably the last chance we have to take a bus. Although Karen's already making noises about renting a car. You are the worst pilgrim in the world.
The Camino is all about what you
Peregrino mal. All right, this is Karen and her Sherpa Tim signing out. This is a horeo, and it is a 4-sided granary on stilts, and there's a little group of 4 of them right here in downtown Teneo. We have seen over the last 2 days of hiking, literally hundreds of these. It seems like every house has one attached. I'm in Pola de Allande, charming little mountain village in Asturias, Spain, and that is the fortified house that dominates the town. Here's the lovely ayuntamiento, the lovely town hall of Pola de Allande. Say something in français. This group of French hikers had been staying in the same hotels we had since Salas, and last night, one of them, this one here, started chatting up Karen in French. If I'd had my staff of righteousness with me at the time, I would have smote him dead. I found out that they were a supported group. They had a van that transported their luggage from town to town, so all they had to carry were day packs with water and snacks. Cheaters.
No,
Climb that mountain! Au revoir! Au revoir! Bye-bye! There was a reason I was laughing at them. I had a plan to leapfrog them by doing 2 stages this day. Here's the luggage that the French people leave behind, and this beautiful young lady here. Hey, she comes picked up. I was trying to habla inglés?
Yeah.
I was trying to hitch a ride for my wife and I.
Oh.
She's not feeling well.
Okay.
So we were wondering. We were going to wait for the bus, but the bus doesn't come till 6 o'clock.
Right. In the evening, really.
Yes. To Grandes de Selime. So I was asking her if we could. We are very petite. We are poquito americanos.
Yeah.
Poco americanos.
I can do 2 things. Where do you have to go to?
Grandes de Selime.
Grandes de Selime. I'll have a quick thing.
You think about that.
What's your name?
Timoteo.
Timothy. Crystal.
Nice
to meet you.
So nice to meet you. This is the most and best English we've heard since we've been in Spain.
Yeah, I lived 10 years in Scotland. That's why. Up or anything, just let me know because it's up at the path where it cross.
Behold the giant slugs of Asturias. And here is our little perro. And Santa Cristal. And our burro for today. The venerable Volkswagen van. We've stopped for just a moment on our trip. Take a picture of the beautiful mountains we did not walk across.
We're in the mill house at the Folklore Museum, and we're actually watching a demonstration of flour being ground from corn. It's coming in through here and being ground by the millstone, and it's coming down here through a sifter where it looks like the finest flour is sifted out first, and the coarsest material travels along the stream to bags.
Smell it. You can smell the flour dust in the air. We are in a small chapel at the Museum Etnográfica. I don't know if this is in the chapel. I know we're not allowed to film in most churches, but this one seems to be okay. And this is a skull. I don't know if this is a first-class relic or not.
Hola. Where are we, Tim?
Grandes de Selime.
Grandes de Selime. It's about 5:15 in the afternoon. I've had a lovely siesta. I'm feeling a bit better and had a nice hot shower, and I'm enjoying a view of the mountains we did not walk over.
Let's take a look at those. There they are. That's the big mountain that we drove over today. Thank you, Cristal. This is the view from our little balcony in our hotel.
The town that we're in has been relocated, as when they created the reservoir, it completely drowned out the little town that was here, so they moved everybody up the hill. And,
tell them about the ghost.
The ghost of the, what ghost?
There was one guy in the village who would not leave, and as the reservoir began to fill, he wouldn't leave, and he climbed up the roof as the waters began to fill, and he scratched and clawed into the clay roof, and you can still see his fingernail marks today. And some days, when the night is dark and the wind is howling down the hills, you can hear him say, "Agua!"
Aqui.
Okay, we need to go to our bar where we've got a great view of the pilgrims, the real pilgrims trudging into town.
We're real pilgrims.
We're real smart pilgrims. Where we can see the pilgrims trudging into town and not feel guilty.
Maybe we'll buy them a cerveza.
This is one of my favorite hotels so far. Come on, let's go to the bar. This is a very interesting church. There's a church here around 1186. That sounds fairly precise. But this church was built 17th, 18th centuries. It's got this interesting Romanesque kind of arcade that encircles the entire building. And here's the Ayuntamiento, the town hall. And here's the Camino de Santiago, comes into town right by here. And it leaves town by this way. We'll catch some pilgrims here. We'll definitely see some pilgrims. Oh, what's this? Cafe Bar Centro. This is where we're going to hang out. There's the church tower. Here's this interesting arcade. Really quite beautiful. Here we are in the Centro Bar Cafe. Mi amigo Marcos. Our wonderful company. Wait, say hola, hola, hola madre, hola padre. Now we have two beers here. This is my go-to beer, the Mau beer from Madrid, and we have Grande, which is what we would call a regular-sized beer, and we have Pequeña, which is little beer, which is ridiculous. I almost get offended when people ask me if I would like a small beer or not. But and there is Karen drinking her vino tinto de la casa. Here in Villas Grandes de Selime, Bonita Grandes de Selime, España, Asturias. Our last night in Asturias. We are in the Bar Centro Bar?
Sí.
Centro Bar.
Centros Bar.
In Grandes de Selime. And this is mi muy bueno amigo Marcos. And then we're here. Show him your t-shirt. Show him your sweatshirt. He's got his 1954 throwback Staten Island hoodie. That's called a hoodie. Hoodie. And he's got the hawk going. He's got the exotic body piercing. He looks as American as apple pie. I'm proud to know him. Hola, peregrinos. Hola. Marcos just gave us a shot of Aguardiente da Araujo, which is an 80 proof liquor from Galicia, which is just over the hill. And it tastes a lot like pochino. It tastes like a potato-based liquor. Nothing quite like it that I've tasted. There's something in Greece that sort of has the same kind of flavor. As you can see, it's crystal clear, and it's going to tear me a new one. Thank you, Marcos. Muchas gracias.
¿Dónde trabajas tú?
Do you want to shoot Marcos here?
¿Dónde trabajas? ¿En qué trabajas?
¿Trabajas?
Parece que trabajas en la tele, en TV.
Sí.
We'll subtitle this when we get home. Bottoms up, girls.
Ay, muy bueno. Orujazo del bueno.
Smooth as silk. Goodbye to the mountains of Asturias. We're about 1 kilometer from the summit, Alto de Cibo. This is looking back towards Grandes de Selime in the east. These yellow flowers covering the mountainside are some kind of lady slipper. Asturias, I love you, but you rain too much. There does not appear to be anything between these incredibly sharp horns and us. And interesting juxtaposition. Here's these gigantic windmills at the top of the hill. We're still in Asturias. Ha! What's that? Oh no. A cow with horns in our way. Shoo! Shoo, Bessie! Come on! Come on! Moo! Come on! Oh, good girl. Uh-oh. Hello. It's windy, it's cold. We're about 100 meters from the top, but this view of these mountains of Asturias is just gorgeous. Finally, we're at the top. And behind me, our first sight of the beautiful rolling hills of Galicia. Hopefully there's a bar nearby. Behind me in the distance, that shining city on the hill, we believe is A Fonsagrada, which is our destination. One of our pilgrim friends said that when he was crossing Castile on the Camino Francés, he said it was very frustrating because you could see your destination all day long. You could see, it was so flat and so dry, you could see 30 kilometers, 20 miles ahead of you. And you could see the city you're walking to, and it took you 10 hours to get there. So now that is 12, 14 kilometers away, and it's going to take us about 5 hours to get there. But we'll be able to see it the whole time. It is kind of frustrating, but that's where we're going. Ah, Fonsagrada, our shining city on the hill. Looks a little closer, but dang, it looks like a pretty nasty climb up to there. We've been going up and down hills ever since we got into Galicia. Pan. Estrella Galicia, the local beer. We're about 4 clicks from our destination, and we've stopped at this gorgeous restaurant called Cuatro Vinos, 4 Winds. And we're having basically our midday meal. It's 2 o'clock here in Galicia. I hope I can roll out of here when I'm done. I'm already considering figuring out if we can bum a ride off one of the staff to the rest of the way. We've come a long way. We've probably come 14 miles over a very large mountain. Very tired, footsore, legs feel good, beer tastes better. Karen insisted on shooting this. She says because this is, she said, perfect light. So I love you, Karen. We're here in Fonsagrada in Galicia in España, and I'm sitting here at the sacred fountain in Fonsagrada, where the town gets its name. Fons meaning fountain and Sagrada meaning sacred. This is a grim little town of over 3,000 feet above sea level in the mountains of Galicia. And it was here at this exact fountain that a miracle happened, a miracle by St. James the Apostle when he was on his missionary work here. He was, according to this document, he was attended to by an impoverished widow. And to thank her, he turned the water in this fountain to milk, agua a leche. And I don't know what exactly attended to means, but that must have been one happening widow. Now, today, another miracle happened at Fonsagrada, about 4 miles outside of town. 2 impoverished peregrinos, footsore, leg weary. They had just climbed over the mountains into Galicia from Asturias. And they walked out of their restaurant. And there, waiting for them, like a beacon of hope, was a taxi. The taxi driver's wife and daughter were eating lunch in the same restaurant. He quickly went upstairs, found who they were, negotiated a fare, which turned out to be free, and the taxi driver drove the poor peregrinos all the way up this long 4-mile hill to this fortified town. It was the miracle of Fonsagrada Part 2. And that's a miracle for me. Did you take that as a sign from God that we should take a taxi? There's our shining city on the hill. Now it'll be coming up on us very close.
We are the worst pilgrims ever. Figured out what a zapateria is? Zapateria. It's where there's a large selection of zaps. That's my guess.
Good morning. It's Thursday morning and we're still in Fonsagrada, and we're about ready to set off on an 18-mile hike. And we decided we're going to fill up all of our water bottles with the holy water from the sacred fountain. I think we're probably going to need it. Looks like it's going to be a hard climb today, but hopefully this will fortify us more than anything else.
Too bad St. James didn't turn this into beer. Mmm. Hola, Camino Cam. Well, we're in this little village called Alaska. We're leaning up against the iglesia, the church. We're about 4 or 5 miles from our stopping place for the rest of the night. Cadavo, we just came up this brutal hill. Tell them about it, hon. Like a kilometer of that. Almost on our hands and knees.
It's crazy. We could have stayed on the road.
We could have taken the easy way, but we didn't.
We found the most beautiful little Spanish farm. And we want it. And we saw it and we were like, this is it. This is perfect.
Couto.
And then we realized that the way to get to that place is up this really steep really long.
There's got to be a road. There's got to be a road up the canyon.
There's really steep and really long, and I think our knees were touching our chests on some of it. It was just crazy.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Well, the good news is this town doesn't even have a bar, and you know it's a pretty good sized town. It's like maybe 30, 40 houses, which usually that equates to about 3 bars.
Right.
There's nothing here, not even a shop. So as we were leaving town on the Camino, we saw this little old lady, and we asked her if there was
100.
She must have been 100, yeah. We asked her if there was a bus to Cadavo, and she said yes, at 3. And we're like, oh, awesome. And we were like, where's the stop? And she says, oh, right by the church. So here we are. But we wanted to confirm.
Because she's 100.
Because she's like 100 years old.
In Spanish, and we didn't exactly understand what you were saying.
Right. So there was this nice gentleman. He's just over here, and we asked him, does the bus stop here? Does it come at 3? And he basically said, what do you say?
Yeah, he said, yes, it sort of comes around 3, but why don't I just take you? He was waiting for a delivery for his store or whatever it is he's here.
There's no stores.
Not a store that we would be interested in, but he said, I'm waiting for a delivery, and the delivery truck pulled up, and he goes, when I'm done, I'll take you. So if you never hear from us again, we've been kidnapped by some.
No.
But he was a sweet man, and he understood and spoke absolutely no English, and but he understood that we were pilgrims and we were trying to get to Cordova or wherever it is.
Cadavo.
And he's going to take us. So we're sitting here waiting for him, eating our sandwich, drinking our holy water from the fountain from this morning. And, there's plastic. Anyway, so life is good, and we're gonna get to the hotel or wherever we're staying and have a shower and a siesta and a cerveza or two. And the Camino is a good thing.
The Camino has been great.
It's awesome.
This has been the greatest thing I've ever done in my life.
And here's our ride to Cordova. We're here in our car with Javier y
Yo, Luis.
Luis.
José Luis.
Santa Luis. Santa Javier.
We're driving up this steep hill. Keep an eye out for the Peregrinos. Nosotros mal peregrinos. Muy malo.
Parecido.
Everybody says that. No bad peregrinos.
Nosotros dos, los dos.
Oh.
Por ahí.
We're still going uphill. This is what so much of our Camino has looked like. Being personally driven by some nice Spanish person. It's a nice way to finish off a day of walking with a nice drive and a super comfortable car. This is a trip of gratitude, Karen. What are you grateful for?
Santa Luis y Santa Javier.
Este es cada uno.
And there we are at our hotel, Moneda.
Moneda, aquí.
Well, here we are, Hotel Menedo, and we just got here a few minutes ago. We decided to have a beer. I guess I decided to have a beer before we check in, but it's a beautiful little town, gorgeous day. That was a long ride, wasn't it? I thought maybe it was 6 miles, maybe it was a little farther.
Yes.
Salud!
It's the Camino magic.
Camino magic! Camino magic!
All right, here we are on Friday morning in Cadavo. And I just wanted to do a quick shoot of this is what a typical morning like. We've foraged for some breakfast. We went to the supermarket. Pretty much all they have here for breakfast is sweets. So we went over and got 100 grams of ham. And I found my first lemon yogurt, which was quite yummy. And what we do is we use our bed as our laying out the ground, our staging area. This is basically all our crap. And we have it all spread out, and then we pack it up into these 2 little packs. We have some laundry out here. Again, you can always tell the Peregrinos in the hotel because they've always got a clothesline out. We washed these clothes last night. There's my socks, which will not be dry for another 2 days. Yeah, just laugh it up.
No puedo dar un paso sin ti en mí. Me lleve.
Karen, te llevaré todos los sentidos, todo el tiempo y luego paraíso de zapaterías. Lo vamos a hacer muchas veces.
Quiero hacerlo ahora. Llévame.
Karen. Estoy tocando su seno. Es suave y agradable. Voy a quitarte la ropa. Yo te haré muy feliz, se la ruego por misericordia. Más rápido, más rápido. Tengo sed. Más rápido.
I am my Don Quixote, the man of La Mancha, destroyer of Frenchmen am I. With my staff of righteousness I will smite you if you flirt with my pretty burro. If you flirt with my pretty burro. Andale, Sancho, andale, at Santiago. Whoa, whoa, burro, whoa. Ah, bueno. Quiero cerveza.
Karen, tell me, how are you feeling?
Well, I've carried you since Cordova, and I'm a little tired. My feet are kind of sore, my legs are kind of sore, my back is kind of sore. What I need is a miracle.
A microbus! Microbus! It's a miracle! It's a miracle! Karen, we're here on a Camino of gratitude. What are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for this microbus.
Microbus! We're here in Lugo. We just got off the miracle at Cadavo. There's a fountain. Here's our first sight of the Lugo walls. That's the gate we're going to go through. This is some kind of thing. Action!
More tea.
Here's Karen and her new best friend Fernando. San Fernando, we call him now.
Fernando Santos. My last name.
This is going to get picked up very
We're
well.
not just one saint, we're all Santos.
Of course you are. That's a metaphor.
It's a metaphor.
It's a metaphor.
Must mean something.
It is. You have been to us.
A few weeks before we arrived in Spain, a civil unrest arose in the form of Los Indignados, the indignant, who set up camps in the town square of every decent-sized city in Spain. The unemployment rate here for 18 to 25-year-olds is a staggering 45%, and Spain, under increasing pressure from the EU and heavily in debt, was forced to cut back the social safety net so common in Europe. Their headquarters was a beehive of activity, everyone moving with purpose and determination. I asked for and received permission to speak with the Director of Communications. Our friend, Johnny Santos, was kind enough to translate.
Tell me, why are you here?
Estamos aquí porque estamos indignados.
They're here because they're indignant.
And what do you hope to get by being indignant?
Queremos comprometernos para cambiar las razones que nos llevaron a estar indignados.
So they want to be solidarity. They want solidarity, and they want to be compromised and take a stance to achieve the things, to change the things that made them indignant.
And what change do you hope to effect by this demonstration?
En primer lugar, tenemos que conseguir que la gente se dé cuenta de cuál es la situación socioeconómica.
So the first thing they want to do is bring attention to the socioeconomic status that is going on right now.
Y crear una red de educación y de convocatoria para poder llevar a cabo las demandas que acordemos.
So they basically want to create a network of mobilization and education to be able to get the things that they're asking for and the demands that they want.
What message would you like me to bring back to America from you?
En todo el mundo tenemos razones para estar indignados, en Norteamérica especialmente, porque al final todos somos esclavos del sistema de capitalismo neoliberal.
So that everywhere in the world there's a reason to be indignant. In North America especially, because we are all slaves to the neoliberal capitalist system.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Hola. Let's see, it's about Saturday morning around 11 o'clock in the morning, and we're in the beautiful city of Lugo. It's a fortified city with Roman walls that encircle the main town. It's about 2 kilometers walk around the walls, and we'll probably go out and walk those today. Tim is downstairs writing an email to his friends, and I am upstairs stuck in the room because we've had all of our laundry sent out to be done. After a week of hard hiking, everything we own sort of has a smell to it that we need to get rid of. So we are paying 15 euros, which is about $22, to have 2 loads of laundry done. And I am in my sarong, which has come in very handy when we are done wearing our hiking gear for the day. We've had breakfast. We have found the perfect food, which is normally a bar food. It's called tortilla española, which is just a potato omelet, and it's very typical of the region, and they usually just give it to you free at the bar as tapas in the evening, but it's got eggs and potatoes, and it's lovely, and they usually serve it with a big hunk of French bread. Otherwise, it's almost impossible to find protein here for breakfast. It's normally just toast or sweet things, and as an American, I just can't do that. So he's started to get a little bit of a sniffle, and I still have my cold. I think it sort of developed into a sinus infection, but we're going to be here in Lugo for the next 2 days or so hopefully we'll be able to rest and recover before we start on the official last 100 miles of the Santiago, where we may not take a bus. It is not permitted. If we want our plenary indulgence, we have to walk the full 100 miles. So I think the first 2 days are going to be long days of about 18 miles each, There's not much between Lugo and our next stop for the evening, so we will have to start early and walk strong. Fortunately, I think it's mostly downhill. Let's see, Lugo is a beautiful town. Beautiful, lots of shops, lots of cafes, beautiful churches. We stopped in the cathedral last evening when we came in. We got seos there. We found the tourist office. We got a seo there. We found the Albergue, the Pilgrims hostel. Got a seo there. So in terms of the treasure hunt for our pilgrim stamps, we're doing fine. Last night we saw Johnny and Fernando, probably for the last time on our pilgrimage. Those are the two folks that we met early on. Johnny and Fernando Santos. Fernando is an older gentleman who lives in Madrid. His son Johnny lives out in California. They've been good friends to us, and we will miss them, but they were back on the Camino this morning. We saw them walk by the balcony of our hotel. So we wish them well, and we hope they have a good Camino, Buen Camino, Johnny and Fernando. It's warm, finally. It's probably low 80s here. Sunny, beautiful blue sky. So far the weather's been very good to us. We only had that one brief day of rain in Asturias, and that was a soft, gentle spring rain. So it's not been bad. It's been very, very good. We've been very blessed. And Tim had a wonderful evening last night interviewing the protesters, the young people out in the Plaza Mayor. They've got some grievances against the government about the austerity measures that Spain is currently going through. And I think he enjoyed being able to be the sort of man in the street with a camera, asking questions. I enjoyed sitting by a cafe, watching the people go by, and the old men in the park, and the children playing, and the beautiful churches and the steeples, and the architecture has just been gorgeous. So, Spain. We love you, Spain. We're not keen on how you eat and when you eat. It's a strange thing for Americans who want 3 meals a day at regular hours. But, the siesta makes up for it. The midday nap has been pretty wonderful. I think once our clothes come back, we might do a little more filming, sort of the funny bits that Tim has sort of conceived in his mind along the way. And perhaps we'll get some pictures of the architecture and the beautiful history and the beautiful people. Spanish women in particular are just gorgeous. And the old men are just so perfect, because you look at them and you see the clusters of men sitting on park benches, and you know that that exact scene has been reenacted for generations. But children are children everywhere. They're joyful, and they're causing their parents all sorts of angst, and I miss the children in our lives. And anyway, Buen Camino.
Camino Cam, we're in a store. Karen, she does not want to wear hiking clothes around this beautiful sound, so we're looking for sundresses here. There you go. Disco music. Lugo Disco. Ooh, she's looking at shoes too. Which one do you like? The blue one or the white one? It's the blue one. I'm not actually asking how much does it cost. I'm asking how much does it weigh?
Nothing.
Nothing, she says. We have to carry that 100 kilometers. Here we are in another European discotheque. Karen is trying on her new shoes. Just gonna do a little walkabout with them. Her new strappy sandals. Comfortable, yes, traction. Her little thin shoes just picked up every little marble there. Oh, bueno, bueno. We are in the Provincial Museum in Lugo. I'm in the one part of the museum that you can shoot photos in. There's these incredible mosaic floors. I found the evidence I was looking for. We're here in the Provincial Museum. This is a Latin inscription from the Roman markers section of the museum, and this clearly says, I, Julius Caesar, slept in room 402 of the Hotel Mendez Nunez. So it's true. Julius Caesar slept in our room.
Ball, chains, 12th century.
This is another very exciting find. This is again Latin. It's from the 2nd century. This one clearly says, Yankees go home. Here our lovely spokesmodel is referring to the gigantic stone sarcophagus, similar to the stone sarcophagus that St. James was transported 1,200 miles across the Mediterranean through the Straits of Gibraltar. Excuse me, what are you doing?
It's heavy.
We're going to have to leave. Yes, it's heavy, but it was pulled by angels. And you know, one angel equals about 12,000 oxen. So it does not look incredibly seaworthy. You, on the other hand, look very seaworthy.
Hi, sailor.
Here's a stone in the Roman section. I don't know why it's here. I think some guy named Juan scratched those lines on it about 5 years ago.
Hola. It's after dinner, so we found a sweet little sweet shop, and look what I found. I don't know what it is, but it's covered in chocolate, so it must be good. Maybe an eclair? But here, look, it's a scallop shell pastry, Campo de Santiago Compostela. It's special for our pilgrims, and they charge us extra for it. But this is most exciting. It's a little Peregrino statuette. We thought it was a chocolate and we were going to eat it, and we were so disappointed that we spent €2 on a statuary that we now have to carry another 100 miles.
How much does it weigh?
A lot.
Shit. I'm leaning against the 3rd century Roman walls, standing on the cobblestone streets of Lugo. It's an incredible sight. They're completely encircle the city, and they're absolutely beautiful. We walked a little bit on top. We're going to do the whole circumference today. But today I'm going to try to climb the walls. Are you an angel?
Yes, I am. Arise, Timoteo.
No, I can't. I'll fall.
No, you won't fall. You must have faith, Timoteo.
It's a miracle. It's a miracle. Do all the angels in heaven look like you?
Yes, except those that look like Penelope Cruz.
I knew it.
Here is San Pedro Gate in the Roman walls. This is the gate we came through yesterday. It's one of the oldest gates in the city. And there's the top of the wall. They look to be about 50 feet high. And you can see they're about 20 feet thick. And we're about to go to the top. Through this narrow alley. And up those stairs. Here we are on top of the walls. There's those little juts out there. Here's my wall model. You can see how wide this wall is. This path is over the entire wall.
Here we are on the western side of the Lugo walls. As you can see behind me, the hills. We may be done with the mountains, but we are not done with the hills. And I don't think we're ever going to be done with the hills. But tomorrow, those are the hills we're going to have to cross. We have 17 and a half miles to go tomorrow to Ferrara, where we have a reservation at a little B&B. They look tall.
So do you love Spain?
I love Spain.
What do you love about it?
Well, it's 2 o'clock on a Sunday, and everybody in Lugo is out and about. They're having either a cafe or a beer in one of these beautiful little cafes. It's a sunny day. There's a beautiful fountain. The birds are out. The kids are playing. It's just a happy place to be.
Window made of single block of granite.
We've done a fair amount of road walking today, basically all of it. But we're turning around and maybe we're looking at the last mountains, our last set of the mountains.
We've done 12 miles in 5.5 hours now. Before our rest in Lugo, 12 miles would take us about 8 hours at our blazing 1.5-mile-hour speed. So we did better than 2 miles an hour, almost all of it on the road. And my feet are killing me. But it's still early. We only got 5 miles to go. Although Senor Lopez, our proprietor here, can call us a taxi. I just saw Karen's eyes light up. But it's just so nice to lay down on this granite bench. Who knew that a granite bench could be so comfortable? Feels like a bed in a 5-star hotel. Oh, beautiful. I think it's time for a beer. Halfway up this hill.
That's the thing that I have no clue.
They have like municipality names and cities, village names and hamlet names, and you never quite know where you are.
Today was the day we met Marita from Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. She was the only person we spent a considerable amount of time walking with. We tried to walk with Fernando and Johnny once, but could only keep up with them for about 100 yards. Marita always had her guidebook in her hand, always wanted to know where we were, what time it was, how far to the destination. At one point, when she asked me where we were for perhaps the umpteenth time that day, I just said, Aqui, here. And when she asked me what time it was, I replied, Ahora, now. Perhaps our greatest achievement during our Camino was the moment we convinced Marita to put her guidebook in her pack. Well, we're sitting here on the Roman bridge at Ferrara, built 2nd or 3rd century, restored in the 16th or 17th century. We've been here a couple hours now, and I feel a lot better. I don't know how else to describe the walk we made today and our first walk in the grotto except for trauma. My body is in trauma for maybe an hour or two after we get here. And then we got something to eat and something to drink, and here it is just a couple hours later, and pretty much everything feels fine. We have one more really tough day ahead of us, and that's tomorrow. It's 2 miles longer than today, but hopefully not as hilly, although we start with a big hill. And a lot of road walking again. And we joined the Camino Francés in Melide. But I think I've recovered, and I'm looking forward to one more day of torture. Then our last 2 days are just 13 miles each, which compared to today and tomorrow is just going to seem like a cake. Do you have anything to say?
No. We are staying in the most beautiful little rural. Is it a pension?
No, it's a B&B. It's
a B&B.
Casa Rural.
Run by this fantastic man named Manuel, who speaks no English, and the Spanish that he speaks is a dialect I am not familiar with, so I'm having trouble understanding him too. But fortunately, we've met up with Marita from Venezuela, who is bilingual, and she has been invaluable to us in translating what we want and asking the questions we need. She was able to get us dinner early when we arrived, rather than waiting until 8 or 9 o'clock when most Spaniards eat. And they are fantastic folks and a wonderful family that runs this place. And this building that we are staying in is this fieldstone constructed casa with the Spanish tile roof and a outdoor courtyard with a seating area and some gatos, cats, for me to play with. Gatos. And it was a rough day, but we managed it and we made it through, and I'm very proud of both of us.
Yay! This is the Galician version of the joreo that we saw so many of in Asturias. These are much smaller, and they almost all have crosses at one end.
Okay, well, we got here, and Fernando and Johnny, our father-son friends, they left us a note in the guest book. here at Casa de Ponte in Ferrera, and I'm just going to read it. 5/6/11, just last night. A miracle! Tim and Karen, we had a feeling you might pass through here. Enjoy the good energy, the river, and the silence. Though at times we disperse like waves coming ashore, we remain eternally connected through the inevitable flow of energy and love. Buen Camino, Johnny and Fernando.
Okay, dance girls. Da-na-na. Why are we dancing? Okay, here we are. We're almost 11 kilometers away, but there it is. The shining city on the hill, our destination, Melide.
Oh, now we can dance.
Now can do it right now. I'm so great.
We are so good.
From here to here.
At a little cafe where the Camino Primitivo joins the Camino Francés, we said our goodbyes to Marita. We were pushing on, she was staying there. Against all odds, we would run into her in a few days in Santiago and share a few meals more with her. Our experience on the Camino Francés would be very different. On the Primitivo Ruta, we barely saw any pilgrims. On the Camino Francés, we were constantly surrounded by them.
Where?
Nous sommes habitent en Washington DC.
Washington.
Si. Oh, oui.
Vous marchez depuis Washington?
Ah, well, good. No, not all the way.
Vous vous rendez compte, ils ont traversé l'Atlantique.
À Madrid, le train à Oviedo.
Ouais.
Et nous marchons from Oviedo.
D'accord, d'accord.
Félicitations. Merci.
Au revoir. Here's my new brother, Adrian. Adrian, where are we?
Where are we? We are in Boente, or on Boente. Maybe, sure.
The other way.
The other way?
Albergue.
Albergue, is this albergue?
And who, here we have somebody going by Burro. Is it you? Burro.
Burro.
This gentleman here is doing the Camino by Albergue. What's your name, sir?
Nestor. It's the name of the donkey is Nestor.
The name of the donkey is Nestor.
Like a hero.
Turning 40, and we're 40 kilometers from Santiago. Yay.
We've come 60 kilometers in 2 days. 35 kilometers today, and we're still not there, but we think we're close. Have faith. Karen, you've just walked 35 kilometers in 1 day. How do you feel?
Thankful that we're done.
Let me ask your feet. Feet, how do you feel?
Muy mal, muy mal.
Muy mal, muy mal. Me too, me too. We're just waiting for our car. So Karen has a blister that's big.
All squeamish parties may choose to look away at this point.
Just going to pierce the skin. Take it through to the other side. Oh, well done. Well done. But this is the way you get the skin to keep. I'm going to turn the camera off right now so I can help her and cut that thread. But that's the way this works. And hopefully she'll be all better tomorrow. Here's the Casa Valmonte, where we stayed last night. We just have 2 more walks to make, about 12, 13 miles each. It's right next to a working farm, and it smells it. And she's not on the Camino. We actually had to call her from the albergue in Ribadiso, and she comes and picks us up. God bless her. It's about maybe 1.5 miles away from the Camino itself. Beautiful little B&B.
Si nos apetece ir, mira, ahora empiezan a ponernos los pozos. Se nos acabó el billete. Se acabó el billete.
Muchas gracias,
Por llevarnos a Pedroco.
No.
Autobus. Maria, smile for us. There's an unruly mob of children right in front of us. We have to go through them. And that's what I'm talking about. Karen, what do you think? Are we going to make it?
Nope.
Hola.
Hola.
Hola. Buen camino.
Buen Camino. Buen Camino. Hola. I'm right in the middle of them right now. I'm so scared. Oh my God, I'm not gonna make it alive. Hola, ¿cómo se llama? Buen camino. Buen camino. The worst and most vicious ones are right ahead of us. I don't know if we're gonna make it.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Comment ça va?
We're almost through. We're gonna make it. There's Karen abandoning me. She's abandoning me. I love you, honey.
I love you.
I love you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Hello, little kill children. Here, see yourself. Ah.
Bye bye.
Can you see yourself?
Hola.
Hola.
Adiós. Buen camino.
Buen camino.
Buen camino. Buen camino.
Buen camino.
Buen camino. Hello. Buen camino.
No, stop, stop.
Stop. Okay. Buen camino.
They're chasing me. No, 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 go away. There they are, the angry horde. They've got everything but torches and pitchforks. But we've put some distance behind them. We buried them on the hill because we are peregrinos. And here's the shining city on the hill that we just left, Azua. Came through a little valley, and now it's on Camino Francais. Looks like a fire road for the most part, and there's peregrinos everywhere. "30 clicks to go."
Hola, 20 kilometers to go. We see the end in sight. We'll be in Santiago tomorrow.
And I'm from Canada and I just walked 800 kilometers and so we are arrived in Santiago.
Is this the border to the city?
I don't think so, but I think we're pretty close because I just saw maybe 12 kilometers or
12 kilometers
from Santiago.
How do you feel?
Yoo-hoo!
Are you gonna walk
I feel
back?
good.
Are you gonna walk back to Canada?
No, I don't. I don't think so. Maybe I will swim.
Swim?
I'll swim in the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah. That's good.
Okay, Oklahoma. She's just met a Sith Lord on the path.
Oklahoma, I did. I'm a stronger person now for having met him and not been.
What do you want to say to the Sooners back home?
Sooners?
In that flyover state we call Oklahoma.
Oh. I don't like most of you very much.
Oh! Smack down.
No, but I like a lot of you Oklahomans, if you get this message. But all the football fans, that's me.
They're so primitive. Hola, chica! What are you doing after the dance?
I got a date. I got a date.
Hey, this is a family movie. I was beginning to get a little worried about our credencials. Not about losing them, but about the fact that almost all of our seos were from bars. We had a few churches thrown in there, and a few hotels, but the vast majority of them were from places we stopped to drink. I was imagining some stern-faced nun looking up from the counter at the pilgrims office in Santiago and saying, "What did you do, drink your way across Spain?"
How do you feel, Tim?
How do I feel? I feel great. How many beers have we had today? It's interesting to go on this, what we would consider a long hike, but it's not a hike. A hike is the wrong word. Because there's bars every 20 yards, and here we are at one now. Salud. You know, I didn't have any expectations coming into this. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how I would feel. And now at the end of it all, a mile away from the destination, you know, it's never been about the destination. The destination's been inconsequential, you know. I don't see myself getting to the cathedral, the plaza in front of the cathedral, and falling down and weeping. I don't feel any tears of accomplishment or anything like that. It's all been about the journey. It's all been about every step, you know, every step I've made. I've stayed in the present the entire time, and it's been different that way, very different. Met incredible people. Drank a lot of beer, and I'm sort of sad it's over, but at the same time not sad. All right, Karen, we have just 2 kilometers to go. How do you feel?
I feel great. I feel like I could keep going for several more days, actually.
Should we go to Finisterre?
I don't think it's logistically possible to go to Finisterre, but, you know, the Camino never ends. It's all about where you are and where you're going. So, wherever we are, we'll be on the Camino.
Buen Camino. Finally, our first look at the spires of the cathedral. Of course, it's under construction, because they all are. Let's go inside. I'm waiting in line to hug a statue of St. James and then bang my head against a pillar and then stick my arms to a gargoyle. I don't think I'll ever say that sentence again in my life. So now I feel like our pilgrimage is over.
Now we're just tourists.
Now we're just tourists. So what do you think? Share with us your thoughts.
Let's do it again.
Let's do it again.
Every year we should come back to the Camino.
We have souvenirs. The crucifix/dagger. The lazy rosary.
It's a paternoster.
Paternoster. Latin scares me.
I think what we kept learning was how you experience the Camino is how you experience life in general. And if you ask someone to describe their Camino, the first word out of their mouth is pretty indicative of who they are as a person. And if you say, how was the Camino for you? And they say it was hard, that means their life is fairly hard. And, you know, I can't come up with enough superlatives to describe what it was like for me. It was warm, it was beautiful, it was welcoming, it was hard, but I always felt it was worth it. You see the world in a much different way when you're walking through it. You can't experience what we experience by driving. I think even for the bicyclers who were doing so many kilometers a day, they missed so much, you know. We would walk through sunken roads that were sort of overarched with these beautiful dappled sunlight branches and full of flowers and birds and streams. I know you loved to stop at the streams just to listen to the sound of it. The road itself was beautiful, but the people, I think, were really what the Camino is all about. And I say I'd like to do this again every year because the people will change, but I don't think the feeling that people have when they're on the Camino, the sort of camaraderie of going through something together, is very powerful. And when we came into Santiago and we saw all the other pilgrims, it was Bienvenido a Santiago, welcome to Santiago, you made it. And now we're just sort of sitting, enjoying the moment, outside again, because we can't stand to be inside.
Buen Camino.
Like every stream has its own song, every pilgrim has his or her own journey on the Camino de Santiago. You can begin the Camino, but it never ends.
the journey goes on. Buen Camino.